to the 6th episode of our podcast RNV Talks, in which we will be discussing many different aspects of the history and culture of the Roma minority. This podcast is released as a part of the project EUROMIJA, arranged by the Roma National Council of Croatia in the framework of the European Solidarity Corps. Today, our talk will be about Roma representation on stage. We will dive into theatre, pop music, and dance genres.
Mecnun Giyasar is one of today's most celebrated contemporary dancers, choreographers, and directors. He comes from a Roma community in a Turkish Muslim village in Komotini, Greece, near the Turkish border, and proudly carries the resilience and richness of Roma heritage. As a proud representative of the Roma minority, he has broken stereotypes and redefined what's possible for marginalized voices in the world of performance art. His collaboration with Rosalia earned him a Grammy Award, making him the first Roma performance artist from Turkey to achieve this prestigious honor. His journey began in Germany, where his exceptional talent was recognized early on. At just 10 years old, he won his first major competition at the Franconian Championship. By 14, he had already become Germany's hip-hop champion and went on to represent the country at the World Championship in Las Vegas. That moment gave him his first taste of international recognition. From there, his career took off. Mecnun began working with some of the biggest names in music: Rihanna, BTS, Madonna, and eventually Rosalia. In 2019, he expanded his creativity beyond choreography by directing the socially conscious documentary Yacht, The Boat of Life. Then, in 2021, he served as art director and choreographer for the hit song Madonna. He soon became a familiar face on television, appearing as an assistant judge on NBC's World of Dance alongside Jennifer Lopez, and later as a guest choreographer on the finale of Germany's Next Top Model with Heidi Klum. But one of his most defining moments came with Rosalia's Motomami World Tour, where he co-created the viral choreography for Biscosito, a project that ultimately earned him his Grammy. Despite his global success, Mecnun has stayed deeply connected to his Roma and Turkish roots. In 2024, he worked on Eurovision stage designs for Italy and Greece. And in June 2025, he made headlines in Turkey by performing with pop icon Hande Yener during Fenerbahçe's championship celebration, symbolizing his role as a cultural bridge between the Roma community, Turkey, and the international arts scene. Most recently, he choreographed a powerful performance for Turkish singer Melike Şahin, blending Roma-inspired movements with different personalities and characters. He is now collaborating with another Turkish superstar, Edis, on an upcoming project that promises to merge contemporary dance with deep cultural elements. Beyond his achievements, Mecnun often shares moments of himself dancing to traditional Roma music, proudly saying he never forgets his history and origins. Through his work, he not only represents the Roma community with pride, but also advocates for inclusivity and visibility as a strong supporter of the LGBT+ community.
Roma culture has often been underrepresented in mainstream art, and when it got to stages, it was usually portrayed in a very stereotyped manner. The world of ballet, and more generally dance, was also influenced by the same understanding of Roma people as wild, untamed individuals only guided by passion and freedom. But through decades, this art has evolved, and so has the way choreographers and directors tell stories on stage. The main evolution was that of moving from the precision and flowing and elegant movements of classical ballet towards more expressive and contemporary forms of art. Artists were suddenly able to use a wider range of music genre, to wear more avant-gardist attires, and to represent more complex topics and emotions in an innovative way. The natural consequence was that of also portraying different cultures in more nuanced ways, leaving stereotypes and misconceptions behind.
Are there any performances that celebrate Roma people?
Yes, one of the most exciting figures in this realm is Bartaba, the stage name of French choreographer Clément Marty. Bartaba started as an actor, but later, in 1984, he founded Théâtre Zingaro, a completely unique company that blends equestrian art, music, dance, and Roma cultural elements. The name of the company, Zingaro, derives from the name of Bartaba's horse, but it also symbolizes something deeper. In Roma culture, horses have always had great significance, not just for travel, but for economic survival and pride. Working with horses gave many Roma communities valuable skills they could share and trade with others. Even today, horsemanship remains a cultural heritage for many Roma families. Bartaba tapped into this tradition and built something entirely new. His early works, Cabaret Équestre 1, 2 et 3, combined live horses on stage, Roma-inspired music, and a cabaret atmosphere. These shows show how strong his bond with the horse Zingaro is, while also paying homage to traditional music and ways of performing among Roma people.
Is Bartaba alone in his attempt to promote Roma culture? Did he start any collaboration with other artists as well?
Bartaba definitely wanted to pursue his mission fully. Between 2006 and 2009, he launched Battuta, a show entirely dedicated to Roma musical traditions from across the world: Romania, Moldova, India, and Central Asia. One of the biggest names involved in this project was Goran Bregovic, the legendary composer known for scoring Emir Kusturica's Time of the Gypsies. In Battuta, the stage becomes a living painting. Chariots glide across the arena, pulled by horses. Bregovic's music animates the stage. Everything aims at celebrating Roma's daily life, its beauty, its hardship, and also Roma's survival.
Are his shows welcomed by the audience?
Very much so. From the beginning, audiences started appreciating his works. Bartaba's shows have toured the world, earning standing ovations and glowing reviews. Those who assisted were struck by a sense of wonder, energy, and emotional depth. These performances shifted the narrative by offering something real and respectful. The performances by Théâtre Zingaro remind us that art can be a powerful act of resistance, an invitation to learn, to feel, and to respect what we don't know yet. Art and dance aren't just decoration. They can be a political and cultural instrument, and they can also contribute to create a more tolerant society through beauty and shared emotions.
Theatre is a very important cultural component for any society. Of course, theatre primarily satisfies the aesthetic needs of a person, but at the same time we should not forget that theatre is also an important social institution. In this regard, theatres of national minorities are of particular interest.
Why is theatre so important for national minorities?
Firstly, theatre is one of the platforms where you can speak out about your problems, and the artistic form amplifies your voice. By performing their stories, national minorities can eliminate common beliefs about them and promote a more accurate understanding of their life and difficulties. Secondly, a stage performance allows you to talk about your past, your culture, your beliefs. Theatre was born from such goals. In the distant past, people reproduced the process of the creation of the world and the history of their people in the form of a certain performance. In addition, the theatre can be an excellent source of information about the history and culture of its people for those who, for one reason or another, can't independently familiarize themselves with the written source due to illiteracy or disabilities. Thirdly, theatre for national minorities is a way to show the world their culture and language. The theatre allows transmitting the most important and deep audiovisual components of the codes of a particular nation. And perhaps one of the main features of the national theatre is the opportunity to feel your belonging to your nation, pride in your culture. All forms of art, including theatre, are able to build a connection with the audience on an emotional level. Speaking about Roma culture, despite the fact that it's extremely rich in music, dance, and beautiful national costumes, it should be noted that there are particularly no professional Roma theatres.
Can we still find professional Roma theatres?
Only in the 20th century, several Roma theatres were founded in a number of European countries. To illustrate, the Theatre Roma was founded in 1947 in Sofia, Bulgaria. In the 1990s, the Ukrainian Romans and Slovak Roma were established as well. Probably the most famous Roma theater is the Roman Theater in Moscow, Russia. It began with the opening of the Roman studio on the 24th of January 1931, and already in December of the same year, the studio received the status of a professional theater and became known as Roman. Theaters play a significant role in representing the culture of national minorities, addressing social issues, and telling more about the history. To sum up, theater for representatives of national minorities is something more than just a form of art. It is their representation as an ethnic group and contribution to the rich palette of world culture.
Flamenco is part of the image and essence of Spain, especially if you ask any foreigner. It is often seen as a national treasure, a symbol of Spanish soul, but what is behind it? Very few people actually know that the roots of flamenco lie in the pain, resistance, and cultural fusion. It was born in the margins of the southern Spain, where Andalusian Gitanos, Roma people, lived excluded, persecuted, and poor. For centuries, they were even denied citizenship, forced into segregated neighborhoods, banned from their professions, and harassed by the police. In this context, flamenco emerged as a cry for dignity, a deep song called Cante Hondo of sorrow and survival. It blended Romani rhythms, Moorish melodies, Andalusian folk, and African influences. But it was the Roma people who carried flamenco in their blood, who shaped its soul, who passed it down orally from grandmother to grandson. And yet, when flamenco became fashionable, first in aristocratic salons, then in state-sponsored theaters, the Roma presence began to fade from the narrative. Their voices were often replaced by the non-Roma performers, their names erased from the stage, their style polished and commodified. Under Franco's dictatorship, flamenco was promoted as a symbol of Spanish nationalism, but flamenco was stolen for the Roma. They were often banned from performing it, yet the Spanish kept exploiting its cultural value for their own benefit. In today's Spain, flamenco continues to be celebrated in festivals, conservatories, and international shows. Probably everyone knows about Rosalía, one of the most visible faces of flamenco worldwide. Her fusion of traditional flamenco with pop, trap, and electronic music has taken this deeply rooted art to global stages, places where flamenco had rarely been ever heard before. But while she is credited with modernizing and internationalizing this genre, her success has also raised concerns about cultural appropriation. As a non-Roma artist, many question whether her work romanticizes and profits from a culture shaped by the struggle and marginalization of the Roma people, and often without fully recognizing and acknowledging that reality. Once again, while other artists are having success experimenting with flamenco, Roma artists struggle for visibility. Their stories remain secondary, romanticized, exotized, or ignored. Moreover, many Roma youth feel disconnected from an art that no longer reflects their lived reality. When institutions control the narrative and Roma voices are pushed to the sidelines, flamenco loses its soul.
Roma people and their music has a special place in the Bulgarian music scene and in general on the Balkans. The Romani music started developing in Bulgaria and Macedonia way back, from the Ottoman period and first decades of the 19th century to present day. Their vibrant and diverse sound got deeply intertwined with the country's musical landscape. Through time, their music changed and transformed into different genres, instruments and performances, mending a road for professional Romani musicians. They were part of the Bulgarian culture for centuries, performing all over the country and becoming an inseparable part of big Bulgarian celebrations like weddings. A new genre emerging from the Romani music named Chalga became very popular in Bulgaria in the post-socialist change after 1989. Lifting of restrictions on broadcasting music that was previously considered degenerate gave place to this new music and its often over themes of sexual liberation and glorification of wealth.
What is Chalga?
It is a genre of Bulgarian pop music that is influenced by various Balkan and Middle Eastern sounds. It blends traditional Bulgarian music along with influences from Greek, Serbian, Turkish and Arabic music, as well as American hip-hop and Puerto Rican reggaeton, and has very close ties with the Bulgarian Romani. It's a folk-inspired dance music. Chalga often includes instrumental and vocal forms, featuring instruments like the clarinet, violin, accordion, and darbuka, sounds inspired by Romani musicians, including the festival sounds, danceable rhythm, and improvisational style known to their people. There is a lot of very popular Bulgarian Roma musicians in this genre. Most notable are Aziz and Sophie Marinova, somewhat putting the basis of this music and becoming one of the most popular singers in Chalga all over the world. For example, Aziz, his real name Vasil Buyanov, is of a Romani ethnicity. Born and brought up in a modest Roma family in a small town in Bulgaria, rose to fame by his unique vision and sound, displaying something very controversial and different for the Bulgarian scene at the time, performing as a drag queen and openly expressing that he is a homosexual, showing that he is not scared to be himself and proudly admitting it. Aziz also performed at the Eurovision Song Contest in 2006. He remains a prominent figure in the Bulgarian music scene.
Can you give me some more examples of Chalga songs heavily influenced by the Roma sounds and traditions?
Yes, there is so many. Like I said, Chalga roots are intertwined with the Roma musical heritage and have popularized a dance style named Kyuchek, and the music for it. Originated in the Balkans during the 19th century, particularly prominent in Romani brass bands, it's a solo dance and several choral dances with moves that are focused in the lower back and hips. You can find songs for this dance by just typing Kyuchek music in the search bar of your choice. Another very prominent example of a Chalga song celebrating Roma culture and music in Bulgaria is Pei Srce by Galena Cvetelina Janeva and Aziz, with a music video shot in a Roma settlement with Roma musicians and people showing their dances, traditions and vibrant lives, involving traditional Roma vocals and lyrics.
That was all from us for today. We hope you enjoyed our little talk. You can find the link to all the articles we wrote on these topics in the description of this episode. Don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts and website to stay in touch with us in our job here at RNV. Bye!